Hey everyone, welcome to White Pine Homestead. I was making a bunch of slow cooker meals this week and wanted to share them with you, just using up things we've got. This is just a bunch of squash I had frozen in the freezer, and I added some coconut milk to it, seasonings. I sauteed up some onions. I also added in some sausage to this because we like a meat-based meal 90% of the time. So onions and sausage in here. Seasonings. You'll see here at some point, I think I add, I think I'm going to do it here in a minute. I go ahead and add another can of the coconut milk because one wasn't quite enough for the consistency that I wanted. And pretty much, if I don't have garlic powder, pepper, and salt, that's a primary season. I could live without any other seasonings if I had those three items. Obviously, I couldn't be making specific types of food if I, didn't have other spices. But those three are my primary go-tos for just about anything that I'm making. So then I just go ahead and cook this on low. The squash was already cooked. Pretty much everything in there is cooked. So there wasn't a whole lot I needed to do. Oh, there you go, me adding. Obviously, I didn't like the consistency, so I'm going to add a little more to that. I mean, you could have made this like a curry dish and added things like that to it, but I was just making a simple meal with things I had on hand, although I do have curry. And this was just an easy meal I could throw in the crock pot and just let it slow cook for, about 5 hours, because I did this around midday simply because it was quick and needed to make a meal, and we're trying to use up things in our freezer. So we really enjoyed it. It turned out good, and it was just quick and easy. I'm getting ready to serve it up here, and you can just kind of see the finished product. It's a hearty meal. Everyone got nice and full, and that's hearty and healthy. That's the goal. The next day I was like, well, I'm on the roll with doing a crock pot, so let's make a nice big stew. My husband absolutely loves stew, so I went ahead and browned the meat up on the stove. I added the flour to the meat in this, I don't know if I show that part, in this actual pan, and just kind of mix it in there. And I think I'm going to go ahead and add that to the crock pot now. And then I have all these vegetables out right here. I don't know exactly how much of each one I want to add, and I'm just going to kind of play it by ear as I go. These are just ideas for you guys to throw meals together with things you probably have on hand, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg. This is garlic that we grew here on our homestead. It wasn't my favorite garlic that we've grown so far. It was a local garlic, which that's nice. And these particular cloves aren't too small, but some of the cloves we had were just super tiny. And I personally like to grow something where I have a little bit more bang for my buck. I tend to add a lot of garlic to my food, and so if I don't, and I like to chop it up, I can use a garlic crusher if I wanted to, but this goes ahead and allows me to just get it chopped up easier and faster. And if it's a bigger piece than just 6 tiny ones, tiny cloves. So I'm trying to remember what this variety was because, like I said, wasn't my favorite, but that's okay. And then after I went ahead, these are the last 2 cloves I literally had that were thawed. Last year when we grew garlic, I ended up losing some at the end because we didn't use it up fast enough. So this year, to prevent that from happening, I only kept a certain amount that was thawed, and then the rest I threw into, we just peeled all of them and put them in the freezer. Some of it I've made into our homemade garlic powder, and the other I have just to grab when I want a garlic clove to throw into something. So garlic powder's fine, but sometimes you want something fresh. These carrots that I'm cutting up are Mokum carrots. We grew those. We've grown those the last couple of years. They are our favorite carrot to grow. We really enjoy the size, and the level of sweetness in them is just really nice. We've grown them the last few years. I'm really content with those, and so we just keep doing that. If you're wondering what I'm doing with things I'm throwing in this pot or in this bowl to the side, I am adding, I always have a bag in my freezer for stock, whether that's chicken stock or beef stock or whatever bone broth I'm making. I almost always throw my vegetable scraps in it as well. I very rarely make a vegetable broth. That's not something my family does because we always have bones. So we just combine the two to get all the nutrients and continue to feed our family really well. We have tried other varieties of carrots, but what we really love is to buy these on the seed tapes. I don't know if you guys have ever done that, but the seed tapes make life so much easier because carrot seeds are so small, and we just dig a little well and lay the tape in it and cover it up with a 1/4 inch of dirt, soil, and water that, and they grow awesome every time, and they're spaced well. I don't have to thin them. So that is one of the things we continue to work on is what things to do to make things simpler and still provide the nutrients that we want for our family and our food, but what kind of time do we have to get that accomplished? It's just an ever-growing thing on a regular basis. So I would just encourage you to do the same. If you're starting out your homestead or just a little garden or whatever it is you're making, try to make it as simple as you can. If you can put in watering systems or whatnot, that's been a huge thing for us, is to have a watering system versus someone being required to water it twice a day. And for the amount, if you're hand watering, that just takes a lot. It can be done, but it's very time consuming. All right, these onions, the onion that I'm going to put in here, I don't remember if I put 1 or 2 in here, but we also grew here as well. This year we did Pattersons and New Yorks. Some of them we actually grew from seed because we'd never done that before versus just buying the little starter bulbs. And we were like, well, we should go ahead and try and start these from seed this year. It's really funny. My daughter referred to them as grass. She was like, Papa, why are you growing grass? Because when it grows, that's exactly what it looks like, is just really fine grass. But nope, these were onions, and they all grew really well. I have some frozen, but I'm still just working through all the ones that are stored away right now in cold storage. So, there you go. Obviously, I put in 2 onions, and I'm really this is not a recipe. This is not something I'm trying to figure out going by. I'm just going, how much do I want? How full does that look? How much does it look like my family's going to need? So I just brought out plenty of the vegetables we wanted to add in there so that we could do that. The beef that I put in there, I don't think I noted, was also our homegrown grass-fed beef that we grow or raise here on our homestead as well. So we're doing pretty well with what we need there. And we have, plenty to keep going. But we have so much right now in storage. I just really feel like the need to work through and use up a lot of that, because there's no point in growing more if I'm not eating what we already have. It is typically what I do. I just sometimes get, I just get busy, right? And then you want to do something fast, and then other things that you've got stored away don't get touched. So I'm trying to specifically grab the things that I haven't been grabbing for and work through those in our freezer, like the frozen squash and such that was in the previous meal. So these potatoes we actually do not plan to grow again. We were very disappointed in them. When I get them out to clean them up and peel them and look inside, probably about 50% of them are being thrown away. And they have like this really weird, it almost looks like veins. They're not veins, but it's just this brown, veiny look that's going through the potato versus, a regular color within. So it's been really odd. They're called Yukon Gems, not Yukon Gold. They're a spin off of the Yukon Golds, which we do like. We will not grow Yukon Gems again, but I am going to use up what we have because waste not, want not, right? So I'm trying to decide right now how many more potatoes I need to put in there. I'll make that final decision, I think, once I mix it up. I think I end up adding, after I finish this batch, 1 more potato in there because, you got to make it filling. I have a teenage boy. I can't imagine. I have some friends with families with that are much larger than ours, with multiple teenage boys. My son eats like he's starving all the time. So this is some of our home canned broth. This is actually deer broth. We actually have not shot a deer in several years, but we have been blessed with being able to get the necks off of deers that other people have shot, and they're not interested in doing anything with them. And so we get the necks and we make bone broth from those. And then the meat we either pick off and recan along with its own broth, or we are lucky enough to make that really nice dog food for our dogs. So that's kind of a blessing to have had the opportunity to have that the last couple of years. Like I said, we have not shot a deer in a very long time, which my son would really like to remedy that and have that not be the case. So hopefully maybe this next season he'll get the opportunity to go hunting with his dad. And I mixed that up a little bit and was like, yeah, I think I need one more potato in there. And I think the rest of them I just end up boiling and throwing into my refrigerator, because after I've washed them and such, because that's what I need with a growing teenage boy, is just boiled potatoes on hand at all times. So if they feel like I need a snack, I'll be like, eat some potatoes with cheese and sour cream and butter and fill yourself up, because that kid is always hungry. I can't not seem to fill him up. So one of the other things I've typically struggle with is getting my stew to be the thickness that I want. And I have been challenged with that, and I did not this time. I'm really happy that I went ahead and did the flour in the meat in the frying pan. That seemed to really, really change how it thickened up for me. I'm just adding some salt right there. I'm sure I'll be adding some pepper here in a minute. If I'm not, I'm surprised. And this one I actually made, I'm putting onion powder in for some reason, even though I added 2 onions. I do that. Why not? Why not have more flavor? It's good for you. This one I did first thing in the morning because so much actually needs to cook in it, especially those harder vegetables. So it ends up being cooked for the rest of the day till my husband got home from work, and he was very happy with its thickness and how it looked. Yeah, I would totally put on camera him eating his food, but he will not let me. He is not into that in any way. He's absolutely not. He does not like to be on the camera. It's not his thing. So that just cooked all day and was ready when he came home, and time to dish up. And I'm just really happy with how it turned out. It was flavorful and yummy and simple. And, the most time consuming was chopping things up, and some people chop longer or faster than I do. It's just really relaxing for me to just sit there and chop. I used to really I guess when I'm processing things, like truly processing food to get it done, I go a bit faster, but I didn't need to this particular day. That looks good. Then the third night, I actually had a bunch of frozen organic split pea soup in my freezer. So I didn't make this split pea soup. What happened though was I actually thawed this out the 2 days before, thinking I was thawing out guacamole, because I had frozen guacamole at one point. And we were having an enchilada dish, I think, or something. And so I was trying to thaw it out, and my husband poured it into the bowl, and he's like, this is weird guacamole, and then read it and was like, oh, this is split pea soup. So that's what it is. It's split pea soup, and obviously I needed to use it up. It's not bulky enough to fill my family up, so I sauteed a bunch of carrots and onions to put in there. Needed to do that, and then I cut up a ton of ham that I had, because that is not going to fill my family with just a split pea soup the way it is. Absolutely not going to happen. But I went ahead and did this, and then I made some biscuits to go with it. And the biscuits and this meal was enough to fill everyone up. Maybe not Lane. Like I said, he's a bottomless pit, and 90% of the time we'll be done with dinner and he'll say, well, can I have this? Can I have this? And I'm like, yes, just go eat. Fill yourself up, because I never feel like I can. So it turned out really well. We enjoyed it. And I hope this just gives you guys some ideas of what you can be doing to just use up what you have. Don't feel like you need to go to the grocery store on a regular basis. Use up what you have and feed your family. Enjoy it. I mean, these can just be some hearty. This is the time of year. It is soup season. Use up everything. Eat some nice biscuits with it and enjoy. You guys have a great day. I have one little last clip of the biscuits in the pan. They weren't beautiful, but they tasted great. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you next time.